visuals of very upsetting, traumatic scenes. And then
such as
often they're kind of rape scenes.
Yes.
And so, for instance, one time I was trying to do a past life regression, and then I was led by somebody I know in my childhood home into a room, and then that scene started to play out, and then I screamed no, and I was taken out of the scene, and then I haven't been able to.
All right. Do you believe this is something that actually physically happened to you as a child?
No.
Then what is the idea that it symbolizes for you?
The only thing I can think of is some kind of powerlessness.
All right. Why do you believe that you are powerless? Where did you learn the idea that you are powerless? And why do you hold on to that idea if that is the resistance that you are experiencing in your attempts to open up your third eye? What are you afraid might happen if you are successful in that?
I'm not sure.
Well, let's explore that idea. Let us say then you go through some kind of exercise or ritual and you are successful in opening up your third eye. What do you imagine is supposed to occur when you do that? What kind of abilities would you then have in your imagination?
In my imagination, I see my whole world opening up on all levels. I feel like.
What does that mean? Can you give us a specific example physically of what that means?
Physically. Oh, you mean in my day-to-day life?
In other words, you said your whole world would open up. What does that mean? What's an example of your world opening up? What would be happening that's different than what's happening now?
What would happen that is different than happening now is I feel that I would have a stronger sense of self and clarity.
A stronger sense of self. What do you have a sense of yourself as now? As powerless, as you said? Powerless to do what? Powerless to follow your passions in life?
Yes.
Why do you feel powerless to follow your passions? What are you afraid will happen if you do follow your passions?
I have to admit, I'm actually afraid of being myself.
Because what do you think will happen if you are? What are you afraid will happen if you do?
The only thing I can think of, and it doesn't even completely make any sense to me, is I have this idea that I'm a bad person and that will come out and I have to keep it down.
All right. I will tell you a secret, if I may.
Yes? Sure.
A, you're not a bad person. And B, because you are concerned that you might be a bad person, proves that you're not a bad person, because bad people are never concerned that they might be bad. Do you understand?
Yes.
So you will always check yourself to make sure that you are staying on track in the vibration that you prefer to be in. You wouldn't even consider the idea if you were not a good person. Does that make sense to you? Do you understand?
Yes, that makes sense.
So there's really nothing to worry about, because you can always take the time to check to make sure that what you are putting out is the best possible energy with the best possible intention. So since you are constantly willing to check yourself to make sure you are not doing something negative, then you have the opportunity to realize that that check and balance system within your consciousness will prevent you from really doing something negative. And even if you mistake something and wind up doing something that might be considered negative, you will correct yourself. You will course correct as you go. And these are the lessons you will learn in life. And this is the process that you've agreed to go through to learn lessons and stay on course as to the true being that you are. Yes?
Yes.
And that's okay. That's okay. There is no judgment in this except the judgment you heap upon yourself. You're not judged by all that is. You're going through experiences. You are aware that you're going through experiences where you might make some mistakes or do things you don't prefer to do. And you are willing to course correct yourself and learn the lessons that bring you back to center. Yes?
Yes.
Then don't worry about it. Just move forward, knowing that you have this course correction mechanism firmly planted in your consciousness, that you will always pay attention to what you're doing and that you will do your best. And that's all that you can do. Yes?
Yes.
Are you a little bit more relaxed about this?
Yes.
That's a hesitant yes.
I
Are you still not sure that you will course correct? Why are you so worried that you will be a bad person? Who taught you that you are a bad person?
Because of...
Or at the very least, that you're not necessarily a good person. Who taught you this?
My mom.
All right.
She told me I wasn't.
Do you understand that that's her fear about herself? And that she's just projecting it on you? Do you understand that?
Yeah, I feel guilty about the things I did as a child.
Such as?
I wasn't always the nicest to my siblings.
All right. And
I wasn't...
why do you feel guilty about it? Because you know it's not the vibration you prefer. Therefore, again, the guilt is simply an indication that you're checking yourself. You know that that's not the vibrational state that you prefer to be in. That's not the vibration that is true for you. But you have to let go of the guilt to learn the lesson that you've already learned. That's not your preferred vibration. Otherwise, you're just stuck in the vibration that you don't prefer because you keep choosing to feel guilty. So fine, that's not how you now wish to behave from this point forward. Let go of the fact that you need to keep feeling that guilt because otherwise you won't move forward. You won't learn the lesson.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Okay. Yes, that makes sense. That makes sense.
I know it does. That's why I said it.
Thank you.
Does this help?
Will letting go of the guilt allow me more access to my third eye?
Of course. Do you think that guilt is part of the idea of opening up your third eye?
No.
All right. Then open the door and understand that, again, even if you make what you typically call a mistake, you now know you don't have to feel guilty about it because you're willing to learn the lesson that helps you bring yourself back into alignment. This is all karma is. Karma, in its original intention, is called action. And it means you just take the actions once you recognize you might be out of balance to bring yourself back into balance. That's it. That's all karma is that recognition that you're out of balance and a willingness to bring yourself back into balance. It's not about guilt. It's not about punishment. It's not about retribution or revenge or anything like that. It's not about self-judgment. It's about recognizing that you are learning things and that what you are learning is something you can apply in the way that you prefer to, so that you can move forward and not anchor yourself to the past. You've learned the lesson. Move on.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anything else? Or will that do?
Yes.
Yes, what?
Do you have any suggestions on being more confident being oneself?
I just gave you all those suggestions.
Okay.
Because look at it this way as a paradox. You think you're not confident, but you're confident that you're not confident. So you're using your confidence to pretend you're not confident. It's not that you don't have confidence, it's that you're using your confidence in a negative way to pretend that you're not confident, because you're very confident about the fact that you're not confident.
Oh.
See the paradox?
Yes.
So it's not that you lack confidence, it's that you are confident that you lack confidence. So choose something else to be confident about.
Okay. All right.
Thank you. Yes?
Oh, can I ask one more question?
That was a question. I guess you need to ask another one then.
In my dreams, I always dream of being in someone else's home. Is there a way I can dream of being in my own home?
You're not at home in yourself yet.
Okay.
When you take to heart all the things we've just discussed, you will find yourself in your own home, metaphorically speaking.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Also, do you have any exercises or way of recognizing direct feeling of source?
No, don't worry about that right now. Just take to heart what we've already talked about. You'll find your way and you will have the experiences you need to have. Just relax.
Okay.
Don't be desperate and don't believe you're missing something. Just move forward in the way that we've discussed. All right? Everything will fall into place.
Thank you.
Relax. Enjoy. Good day.
Hello, Bashar. This is Christian from Germany. I have a question concerning polarity. In our 3D physical world, we have like polarity, we have darkness and we have the light. And for me, the ascension process is kind of escaping this duality, where eventually we will reach a point where we feel our connection to the all that is, and where we are safe, and where we are connected and can join in a realm where there's a lot of love and peace. Yet I know that you said that on every realm of existence there's polarity, so I am wondering how this fits together. So how is polarity expressed in the higher realms? So it's, if not by or through fear or through darkness, or so if we are increasing our vibration, our frequency, then on a high plane, how is polarity reflected then? So thank you.
First of all, it's not about escaping polarity. It's about utilizing it in a more positive way. As we just explained to another individual, the idea of limitation can be an expression of polarity, but it's not always necessarily negative. So we can impose limitations upon ourselves in a positive way in order for us to make discoveries, surprises, experience the unexpected. That, in a sense, is a utilization of polarity in a positive way. But you don't escape it. You simply make choices that don't allow you to express polarity in a negative way. So yes, it exists on every level, but can be. Good day.
Thank you for this opportunity.
Our passion and our pleasure to do so. What would you like to talk about?
I would like to clear up a possible misinterpretation I have of something you said in a recent transmission.
All right, let's do that.
All right. I perceived you as saying that you would be perhaps the only or one of the only Sasani first contact specialists that would be vocally channeled in the future.
No, I'm simply saying that I only come through this channel. There are other Sasani beings that can be connected with for a variety of reasons, whether it's about connecting to a first contact specialist or not. But I'm simply saying I am a first contact specialist, and this is the only channel I will come through.
Okay, so there could
Does
be
that clear it up?
Pretty much. I thought you said something about in order to focus ourselves in a certain direction for contact, you would be the only first contact specialist being channeled. But
through this channel.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that clears it up now.
All right.
Thank you.
Yes.
I had an experience recently where I was letting go of a lot of resistance, and
Yes.
I experienced that the reality that I was in, it seemed to be contained within another reality as I let go of more and more resistance. My consciousness expanded, so my
Yes.
previous reality was within a new reality that had a lot more options.
Yes. But you are a
And
new person in that reality. It wasn't even your reality that you've left. That's another version's reality.
so that was within the new person that I became.
You are a new person in a new reality. Yes. Billions of times per second.
Okay. And the previous person I was that contained within the new person?
You weren't
Uh-huh.
that person. It's contained within the oversoul, but you as a person were not that person. That person is a different person.
Okay.
Person is a malleable, temporary projection of consciousness for a particular reality experience. If you change your vibration, you become a new person in a new reality, a different person in a different reality. That doesn't mean the other one doesn't exist, but that's its own reality and its own person that your consciousness is no longer looking through the eyes of, so to speak.
Okay. I wonder why it seemed like the old reality was within the new reality.
You can look at it that way if you want, but if that concept confuses you, then it might be better for you to just keep them as separate realities.
Oh, okay.
Everything is within everything because everything is here and now. But again, if that's a confusing concept, you don't have to look at it that way.
Okay. It wasn't really that confusing, but I like having both options.
All right. If that provides the clarity you seek, then so be it.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, it's just about how you define things that work for you.
Okay.
Because everything is here and now.
So I was also thinking that if I even let go of even more and more resistance, that I would shift to the reality where there were ETs.
And you may be doing that, but there's no insistence on the timing.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't really insisting, but I was just wondering if that's how it mechanically works. Is it just a matter of letting go of resistance?
It's a matter of letting go of resistance or anything that's simply not relevant for the true you. And that means that you've made an agreement. In particular, if you are interacting with us, it's more likely than not that you are part of the agreement of experiencing open contact with extraterrestrials in whatever time frame that's relevant for those who have agreed to experience that as a collective.
Okay. So it's not just about letting go of resistance. There's other things that you let go of.
After you have let go of all resistance, you can continue to let go of things that are simply no longer relevant, even if they're not resistance or negative. There may be more streamlining, but again, if you just follow the formula, your life will unfold automatically, and you will automatically, if you continue to examine your belief systems, let go of the things that are either the result of resistance or simply no longer relevant for you.
Okay. Will our definition of the idea of limitations change as we evolve?
Yes, to some degree. This is why when we created the book, The Masters of Limitation, we say you go from being the masters of limitation to being the masters of limitation, which means you can more consciously pick and choose how to create borders for yourself, to focus yourself in particular reality experiences. Because limitation is not necessarily a negative thing. You're using limitation right now upon your greater consciousness to even have what you call a physical experience. So limitation can be used in many positive ways.
Yes, I'm realizing that. And I even realized that you use limitations a lot, right?
Absolutely. We limit ourselves, especially in these encounters, to make sure that we are not in any way, shape, or form violating the idea of giving you information that it is not appropriate to give you. So we impose certain limitations upon our consciousness so that whatever it is we, shall we say, are not supposed to tell you, we simply will not have access to. We may have access to it when we go back into our normal selves, our own reality, But for the purpose of these conversations, we will actually block information that it is not appropriate to share with you because it would intervene in your own choices and your agreements.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, we use limitation to all of our advantages in that way.
You even find it, you have a different theme than we do, but you also find that it's exciting to work with limitations in a way through seeing us and helping us work with them.
Without certain kinds of limitations, there are no surprises.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Right? If you could peer through the wrappings and the box that contain your presence, you would automatically know and not have the thrill of opening it to find out what's inside. So limitations are used in a variety of ways to create discovery and excitement and surprise.
And we're evolving to find them more in that way instead of seeing them as negative. And
yes, limitation is not inherently negative. It depends on how you use it. It depends on what causes it.
Yeah, I've been seeing them more as invitations to be creative.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Because then you can, as you say, learn to think outside the box. If there is no box, you can't learn to think outside of it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I was wondering if our human body is capable of as much ecstasy as yours is.
Yes, in its own interpretation, in its own reality, in its own way. Yes, there is an equivalent. It may not be exactly the same as what we experience, but there is an equivalent.
It seems like it would be more challenging for us to reach that state of ecstasy, though.
If you say so.
Oh, it's not?
No.
I don't say that. Okay. It's interesting.
Does realizing that you can achieve it allow you to feel more ecstasy?
Yes.
There you go.
All right. I want to ask you about affirmations.
Permission slips, yes.
But, well, yes, they are permission slips, but everything is, right?
Exactly. So what are you going to ask about?
I was wondering if, I mean, you said that lucid dreaming can change our template level reality.
It can, if you use it that way, yes.
And I experienced what I think I was using affirmations to actually change my template level reality.
Affirmations alone will not necessarily do it if there is no lucidity in the process.
But if there is lucidity.
If there is lucidity, you don't need the affirmations.
Well, how do you change it then? If you're in a lucid state?
You simply know what the template is, what the blueprint is, and you know what changes you prefer to make in it that don't violate the theme that you chose to explore.
But don't you?
It's an exercise of your free will in a lucid state on a higher level, recognizing what is the theme you chose to explore and being creative about how you can change the way in which it is explored. That's what can change. If you are done with a theme, then yes, you can change the theme as well. And it's just a matter of seeing the blueprint and making the adjustments, which in lucid states, you would automatically know how to do. The realization of how to do it would come with the lucidity.
Okay, so it wouldn't just be through thought like affirmations are?
No. Okay. Affirmations can be a tool to get you into lucidity, but lucidity itself brings the knowledge of how to change the template in the ways that are appropriate.
Could one of the ways be through an affirmation?
As I just said, affirmations can bring you possibly into a state of lucidity, but it's the lucid state itself that brings the awareness and knowledge of how to change the template in an appropriate way. The affirmations themselves don't do it. The affirmations can, if you believe in them, bring you into a state of lucidity. But lucidity is a different state than the affirmations themselves. And once you are lucid, you don't need the affirmations.
Hmm. Okay.
All right.
I was in a state and I started to see all of my, a lot of my negative beliefs.
All right.
And
that
they were
can also be a
here
way to use a lucid state, to be more aware of yourself. We will eventually cover some of this in the idea that we will call the 3 questions of self-investigation, an upcoming transmission in what you call the future. And that will do for today.
All right. Ha'atu.
Ha'atu and Aveo.
Aveo.
Hi, Bashar. Recently over Hawaii, we had a lenticular cloud formation. This type of cloud formation is very commonly perceived as a UFO by the contact community. Is there a way to utilize a formation like that to amplify our preparation for contact?
Sometimes they generate a lenticular formation based on ionization of the electromagnetic field around the craft. So yes, sometimes they can be within it. Sometimes it is simply a weather phenomenon. And sometimes it is an indication of interdimensional connections. It is not always about a craft being in a lenticular cloud. You can utilize it as a symbol, as long as you do not necessarily confuse yourself as to the idea of whether or not there actually is a craft in the cloud. But you can use it as a symbol, as a reflection of the idea of making connections. Certainly, again, as a permission slip, it can be valuably used that way.
Hello, Tadeo.
Nania.
We have lots of great questions from our viewers.
All right.
All right. The first one is, since there will likely be a major contact event in 2026 or 2027, and we need to raise our vibration in order to connect with the ETs, does this mean that by 2026, we will have raised our vibration high enough to physically connect with ETs? Is our raising our vibration to a certain level the threshold that will catapult us into this major contact event that you're describing?
While raising your vibration is essential, the event that we are describing in your 2026, 2027 is not the kind of contact event that you may think it is. It will be the beginning of something, the crossing into another era, another level, but it will be for reasons that will not necessarily involve immediate physical contact. Raising your vibration is important to help accelerate into the time when physical contact will be available to you, but the incidents that lead up to this major contact event, while they will be helped by raising your vibration, will not necessarily be for the reasons that you think. We cannot go into too much detail at this time about exactly what causes this event.
Regarding the major contact event foreseen at the time we were just describing, dear Bashar, we would like the ET civilizations involved in this future event to know that we are willing to help at any point during its preparation, if appropriate. We don't wish to be passive, but would be honored to begin joyful interplanetary cooperation in the spirit of beautiful relationships as we journey through the universe together.
Well, all right, but again, follow your passion, follow the formula, raise your vibration. The major contact event will not necessarily be an immediate opportunity for what it is you are talking about, but it will lead to such if you continue along the path of your true self. And the reactions and responses to the major contact event will be observed by many and will determine exactly the schedule, so to speak, the agenda, so to speak, for how open contact may proceed from that point forward.
You've described how direct physical encounters with extraterrestrial beings like yourself and others of higher vibration can cause psychic shock if the person meeting them hasn't raised their vibration enough. As some humans raise their vibration by following their passion, can something similar happen between those humans of higher vibration and other humans whose vibration is not as high? Or would that manifest directly due to the flavor of vibrations here on Earth?
Yes, it'll be somewhat different, although you may experience the difference more in the direction of people not necessarily associating with each other anymore if they are in fear of examining themselves, in fear of being aware of the different negative or fear-based belief systems within themselves. It is possible that humans of higher vibration may coax those fear-based beliefs closer to the surface, but because you are all on Earth, everyone still has the idea of a choice to avoid or ignore those that they may be afraid to face because it reminds them of things that they may not want to look at within themselves. So while it is possible that the higher vibration may coax people to look at themselves on Earth, it is a little bit different in that they have the choice to move away, walk away, ignore that vibration. So it will not be identical to the effect that would happen if you were, for example, to meet one of us.
Okay, thank you. Just as you and a number of Earth futurists have expressed the need for us to realize that we are part of nature rather than separate from it, I'm curious about what events would lead to that awakening and a transition to an Earth where that is the case. Does open contact, for example, contribute to that, and how?
Of course, open contact would contribute to your understanding of your expression as nature because it is built into the vibration of many extraterrestrial species to understand themselves that way as well. So that vibration is part of the formula of the frequency you would experience from all of us because we understand ourselves as expressions of nature. Therefore, it comes with the package, so to speak, that you would begin to face things within yourself that would put you in touch with your expression as nature as well.
Okay. And how will universities in particular change after first contact?
Well, obviously, there will be more discussion, more exploration of the idea that you are not alone in the universe. There will be courses that will begin to teach you about the different extraterrestrial species that would be appropriate for you to experience. There will be deeper understandings of certain ideas in the past that will come into the present again, because certain knowledge has been, shall we say, lost over time that will be reclaimed, regained, and re-explored. There will be many different kinds of investigations into your own nature as well as the nature of the extraterrestrials that you will be experiencing in open contact. Plus, you may allow different techniques of teaching to occur in your universities and other levels of schooling that will be more reflective of interactive experiences based on the way that extraterrestrials may explain to you, as we have explained to you from time to time, how it is we learn things, how it is we teach things, more by interactive experience than the idea of rote memorization. So your techniques of teaching may also change based on what you are willing to adapt to and adopt into your schools based on what you learn from us.
Sounds really exciting.
Yes.
What will open contact mean for the great apes on planet Earth? Will the higher energies of ETs also accelerate their evolution to the same intellectual standard as humans?
No, it will be different. But as we have said, open contact is not just with humans, it is with all life on your planet. But each species has its own direction, its own path, its own evolutionary goal, so to speak. It will not be the same as humans exactly. but they will advance, they will evolve, but it may not be something that you can necessarily relate to right away unless you are sensitive to their communication and they become sensitive to yours in a different way. It will mostly involve the idea of telepathy rather than the idea of having the same expression of intellect that humans do.
So is there a frequency that telepathy is a natural, automatic kind of thing?
Yes, the frequency of unconditional love.
And what about like in cycles per second?
Well, the idea, again, is that when you operate above 200,000 cycles per second, then it becomes more natural to experience the idea of telepathic communication.
And that experience of telepathic communication can be experienced as like hearing the person's voice talking to you in your head?
It can be, but true telepathy is more of a simple receiving of an entire block of information in the form of suddenly simply knowing what the other person is intending. It may come as images, it may come as voices, but it is more likely simply to come as a knowing. You just suddenly know it. There's no mistaking it. It cannot be mistaken for imagination. It is simply that the knowledge is suddenly within you as if it has always been there.
So is there such a thing in like a telepathic conversation with another person that's in another room because your frequency is so high?
Yes, although such a conversation wouldn't last very long in terms of time, because again, you have instant knowingness, an instant exchange of knowledge and perspective.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Do ETs ever reveal themselves to people flying in airplanes?
Yes, sometimes. You have many what you call UFO reports of people in airplanes saying that they saw craft outside the airplane windows.
Should we high five them?
If you wish. They may high five you back if they have 5 fingers.
Okay. You mentioned there will be a new Earth satellite, which represents male energy when male energy is more balanced in the future. Can you tell us more about that?
All we can say at this time is that it will be something akin to a captured asteroid that will fall into a regular orbit around your planet and in a sense become a much smaller secondary moon.
Do you have any timeline on that?
No.
Okay. Our CPUs are currently upwards of 100 billion transistors on them. Are there transitions for Sasani CPUs in your time?
Transitions?
Transistors.
Oh, we do not use transistors. What you may recognize as a computer or a form of AI is purely made of intersecting beams of light. And the equivalent would be 150 trillion operations per second.
Interesting. If you've never had names, then how do you address each other and identify each other? For instance, if you're referencing another being in a conversation, how do you identify that entity to the person that you're talking to?
Remember that our society is purely telepathic, and everyone has a signature frequency. Therefore, by mirroring or reflecting the signature frequency of another individual that is unique, everyone would know exactly who we are referencing.
Okay. This person says that they've been getting a strong buzz when they watch your seminars online in real time, and that they've also gotten a similar version of that if they miss the transition and they watch the recording afterwards. Is this a preparation for something?
Well, it's a preparation for raising your frequency because the buzz you're feeling is the matching of the frequency that we give off. Even if it's not a live session, the idea of our frequency is sort of embedded in anything that represents the session, like a permission slip. So even though it may not feel completely identical to a live session, the frequency is still embedded in any projection of the communication that we have delivered. Therefore, you will still, if you're willing to match our frequency, still feel some mirroring or reflection of that frequency within you, which you may interpret as a kind of buzz of electricity or in some other way.
So for many people, because you're coming in at a higher frequency, as soon as we match that, we start experiencing ourselves from that level.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. And again, since everything is embedded in existence in space-time, then all you're doing by watching a replay of the communication is, again, you are tapping into that frequency to some degree and allowing yourself to begin to identify and mirror and match that frequency, because all information is here and now.
Like some people have noticed that if they listen to one of your recordings, every time they hear something different. And
Yes.
my understanding is that has to do with the information is holographic in that sense. So it will, how does that work? Maybe you can explain.
Well, you have said it yourself. It's holographic, which means you can have many different kinds of layers of information, but being a holographic structure, you will only perceive what you are the vibration of. So listening to it one time or perceiving it the first time, you may be of a certain frequency that only receives a certain amount of the information that is embedded in the transmission. But if you change your frequency, the next time there are different layers within it that have always been there, but may have been inaudible or invisible to you. But by changing your frequency, now you can pick up on those layers because they are of a different frequency as well.
So that's very exciting, because that means that even if a person evolves to higher and higher frequencies, every time they listen to one of your transmissions, they have the opportunity to hear information that they were not able to access before.
Well, yes, and it might not even be that they hear the information. It might suddenly be that by listening to it, they are suddenly receiving an inspiration they didn't receive before. Again, it may come telepathically. It may simply present itself automatically and instantly in their mind as a fully fleshed out idea or concept or inspiration that they didn't have the first time. It may come that way. It's not necessarily something that would be delivered to them auditorily.
So that means even after all of us are long gone, listening to one of these transmissions will provide that opportunity to whoever is listening.
Absolutely. Because everything exists in the now and never goes away.
It's phenomenal.
Yes, it is a phenomenon.
I believe that every species has its own limitations and difficulties to overcome. What are your challenges? How do you deal with disturbing frequencies? And what does a training day or school for your folks look like?
Well, in dealing with different civilizations, which is what I do all the time since I'm a first contact specialist, it's about understanding and investigating and deeply identifying with the civilization. This is why we often experience the idea of having an incarnation or a life in the civilization, so that there is a deeper understanding. And that's part of our training, is to actually live among you as one of you until we have enough knowledge that we can then deliver this information in a way that makes sense to you. But on our own world, as I was trained to be a first contact specialist, the mentor of what you may call the training, in this case being my father for my class, creates a telepathic reality that actually appears to be completely and utterly real. And we go through different exercises and different contact scenarios in that telepathically projected reality, again, as if it is completely and utterly real, like we are truly interacting with that civilization. But it's a simulation. It's just that a mentor has the training to project a telepathic reality that contains the ability to make us believe that it is actually happening and not just a training exercise. That way we get the full experience of it, and any errors come back to us fully in our understanding of what the consequences would be if we actually did make that error in interacting with the actual civilization. So it's ingrained within us very deeply by experiencing it as if it is real.
So that kind of sounds like what happens to us on Earth, but we don't see it as a projection of consciousness until we become more aware.
In some senses, yes.
Because the experience is the most valuable aspect. Is that correct?
The experience is the only way anyone actually learns anything.
That's amazing. Have you ever killed another physical being, even a plant, in your life? And have you ever brought back to the physical life something after death?